I'm Seth Winterhalter. This is the Halting Winter podcast, where we take the best leadership thinking in the world from the best books. We translate it into something that actually works inside the unique constraints of local government. Let me ask you something a little uncomfortable. How much of your energy right now, this week, how much of it is going toward your actual work, and how much is going towards looking like you have it all together? If you're a city manager, a county administrator, maybe a department head in local government, I bet the answer to that question is more complicated than you'd like it to be. It seems that the higher you climb in local government, the more the performance pressure compounds. You're managing up to elected officials who need the confidence of your decisions. You're managing across to peers who are watching, who are judging. You're managing down to staff who are interpreting every signal you send. Somewhere in the middle of all of that, you're supposed to actually be leading. This week inside the MLDC, we're digging into a book that I think will give us some insights into how we do this better. It's called An Everyone Culture, and it's by Robert Kegan and Lahey, two researchers out of Harvard University who spent years studying what separates organizations that truly develop their people from the ones that just put the phrase on a strategic plan and then move on. Here's the central idea that the authors built the entire book around. In most organizations, nearly everyone is doing a second job that nobody hired them for. That job is covering their weakness. It's managing the impressions. It's trying to look capable and certain even when they're not. And that second job, the invisible performance, is one of the greatest strains on any organization's potential. It's not because people are political or self-serving, but because the very culture of the organization makes self-protection necessary. I want you to think about that in the specific confines and context of local government. Your finance director doesn't want the council to see their gap in her knowledge of the new federal compliance requirements. Your public works superintendent doesn't want you to know that he's struggling with the new capital project management system. Your newest hire is performing confidence she hasn't fully earned yet or walked in yet. And if you're being honest, you're probably carrying something right now that you haven't said out loud to anyone, because your job is to or what you feel is your job and your role is to promote, is to produce just overwhelming confidence that you've got it all under control. Nobody talks about it, but the culture makes clear what's safe and what's not. Kegan and Lahey call the alternative to this kind of fractured culture a deliberately developmental organization, what they call a DDO. The concept is both simple and can seem radical. What if your organization was designed so that growth wasn't a program, a perk, or something that happened at an annual offsite? What if development was woven into the daily fabric of how your people actually work together in every meeting, every feedback conversation, every moment when something goes wrong? They studied multiple organizations that actually pulled this off, and they found that every single one of them had three things in common. We're going to talk about those three things this week, and we're going to talk about the things that will really help you look under the hood of your culture and see what is holding us up, what is keeping us back from actually developing people. One of the greatest things in this book is really the insight that we've got to move from developing just people's careers to actually people. People need development, and they will be better in their careers if we develop them specifically as individuals, not as just a role or a title. Anyway, if that sounds interesting to you, I know it could help you. Even if your organization has a healthy and thriving culture, it takes just as much work, if not more work, to sustain a healthy culture than it does to even build one. So I'd love to invite you into the MLDC. You can find more about the MLDC, the Municipal Leadership Development Circle, at haltingwinter.com/MLDC, or use the link in the show notes. Until next week and a new book, this is Seth Winterhalter. Thanks for listening to the Halting Winter podcast. Until next time, keep leading with impact.